there's a pretty simple way to look at ethics in terms of the actual manifest world. And that is, ethics are behavior that follow eros. Now, as evolution occurs, as the universe unfolds, there's a grain, there's a pattern, there's a directionality to the cosmos. And that directionality is an evolutionary unfolding. There's a, grain, the grain of a wood, the kind of a directionality of a wood. So there's a grain of the cosmos. There's a directionality of the universe as it unfolds. That grain is eros. It drives towards wider and wider union, greater and greater desire, greater and greater love, embrace, compassion, care, and so on. Now, it's not a simple one-way street. There are all sorts of ups and downs and all sorts of variations on it, but on the long, long haul, the stock market of the cosmos goes up. And that drift is called eros. Actions that follow that drift are called ethical. So ethics are the way we interact with each other so that we follow the grain of the cosmos. And if you don't follow that grain, your choice, but you're going to get carpet burn. And that's why really unethical behavior is painful behavior. And ethical behavior, Roger says, it's feeling good by doing good. And we usually separate those two things. We think, oh, I'll feel good if I don't. If I do good, I'm not going to feel very good. That's like, Actually, they go together. And so by following the grain of eros, the grain of true erotic desire, that's ethical behavior. But notice, the eros increases. So you're having more and more love, more and more erotic desire to embrace more and more sentient beings. And as you follow that grain of the cosmos, that's ethical behavior. That's reaching out to include more people in the circle of those you passionately love and care for. And that's another version of ethics. So ethics are actions that follow eros, that follow the grain of the cosmos, capital K. And unethical behavior is behavior that rubs against it. And then you get carpet burns. You get really profoundly a disease of the soul. You get sick when you do that persistently. And that's your choice. I mean, you're welcome to do it, but that's the difference between a happy dream and a nightmare. Now, what we find in terms of as you follow the grain of the cosmos, and you follow eros to wider and wider circles of care and consciousness and embrace and compassion, then as you increase your stage unfolding, then the more likely it is that you're accident prone. The more likely it is that you're going to recognize the author of that entire sequence. And that entire sequence is you. So that fundamental I am that you're feeling right now, you feel that fundamentally there is this I amness in you that is aware of everything that's arising. That's the author of this entire play. And all of this is a dream. I don't exist. I am in your dream. Literally. You created all of this as part of your dream. And now you're creating all of this to help you wake up. And if I'm not doing a good job, don't blame me. It's your fucking dream. So, if we put together the whole notion of development, what we find is that, again, just the increasing stages of ethical unfolding make more and more of this conscious. All of a sudden you find yourself lucid dreaming. Now, lucid dreaming has a narrow sense in which you as an individual go to sleep at night and you're dreaming, and all of a sudden there's an awareness that you're dreaming. Now, that's very interesting. That's the beginning of bringing consciousness into things that wasn't there before, that was unconscious. This dream starts to become a lucid dream because when it starts to become transparent, all of a sudden everything that's arising just right now starts to take on the same shimmering transparency of a lucid dream. You start to suspect that there isn't just the solid, unyielding matter staring at you out there, alien and apart from you, but it's a shimmering dance of your own awareness. It's an ornament on your own I amness. It's a twinkling in the eye of your own soul. This is exactly what you have created in order to do this. So we're here to sort of mutually overlapping I amnesses as a Sangha to help us remember that we're each the author of this extraordinary play. And the way we do that is through ethical interaction. And I really want to emphasize, though, that ethics follows eros. If you're doing it right, you're having more fun. So that's what Roger, one of the themes that he emphasizes all the time, feeling good by doing good. If you're not feeling gooder, then you're not being ethicaler. And I've got some more ERs in there, too, that you want to see more. So that's the whole thing. It's just the opposite. Again, the reason that ethics gets a bad rap is that most of what people think of as morals or ethics are ethics from about 1,000 years ago. And that's when actually they were there because we were coming up from, the red meme, egocentric warlord, where Saddam Hussein was like the most evolved person on the planet. and that was about 50,000 years ago. He was a leading edge dude. And so in came mythic membership, conventional, conformist morality in order to put a curb on these guys. And yes, they were mostly guys, although a few really great, Catherine the Greats and Isabel of Castile, who invented the Spanish Inquisition. Women, y'all did fine when it came to that. You don't have to be ashamed of your capacity to mess up untold lives. Not in just relationship with your boyfriends that you can cause untold problems. So that moral structure is what we think of often as morality today, and it's what the moral majority that's still at that stage, bless them, of mythic membership, of conformist, fundamentalist beliefs, the great heartland of this country. No comments. Appropriate, but we want to really kind of move beyond that. But that's what most people sort of equate with ethics in general, and that's a very, very small slice of an ethical move. But I would like to point out that it fits into what we're saying. 50,000 years ago, getting up to that was an astonishing growth in consciousness. To be able to say, wait a minute, I can't just go murder, rape, pillage, plunder anybody I want. I have to treat others with a certain kind of respect. That was an extraordinary move up. Today, it's about 3 stages behind the leading edge. And so that's why a lot of people think, well, if I have to be moralistic, then, there goes the fun. And that's right. We're not asking you to regress 3 stages in ethics, though. We're asking you to move up in ethics. And the higher you move in ethics, the bigger the field of eros that can play. So quite the opposite. A lot of all of us think that acting ethically means I'm going to somehow have to curb the fun. And actually it means there's a much bigger playground, much more bliss awaiting if you get ethical.